Are you live already?
Yeah, I was not showing before. But now you can all see me. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to be having another amazing time, having amazing discussions and conversations that will help you better your relationship, better your romantic life. My name is Ellen, I'm all right, and I'm doing this from the city, the ancient and modern city of Ibadan. All right. That's who we are. Okay, today we want to talk about the topic we have for today is what to do when you and your partner speak different love languages, right? We get to see this again and again of people saying, my partner does not understand me, my spouse does not understand me. So today, the goal of today is to show you what you should do if you ever find yourself in that situation. If you find yourself in a situation wherein your spouse is not loving you the way you want to be loved, or your spouse has complained that you are not loving him or loving her the way he or she would love to be loved, would want to be loved. Today, I'm having two counseling psychologists with me, two amazing people with me who will be joining me in having this conversation. And I would like to bring them all one after the other. The first person I'll be bringing on today is, of course, my amazing friend, Teddy. Extraordinary Teddy. Sis, how are you doing? How are you doing today? Can you hear me, Teddy? Hello, Teddy. Okay, Teddy may have technical issues. I was seeing her a while ago. We were talking a while ago. I could see her before I added her to the live. If we're talking about the love languages, we're talking, you may not have heard about it, you may not have read about it, but the five love languages has to do with the teachings of Dr. Gary Chapman on his book, The Five Love Languages. He mentions that there are five different ways people usually want to be loved, which are the languages that they get to speak. There are five different ways in which they like to converse, in which they want you to love them, right? And these five languages could also mean the way they express their love, the way they show their emotions, the way they also want you to express your love. And if you've never read any of the series of the five love languages test or five love languages, or you have never taken any of the assessment tests, welcome, because we're doing everything to see as much as possible we can orient you on this and help you understand better. So the first thing that's happening is for us to identify these five love languages. So let me do it this way in no particular order. So we have the love of the language of touch, right? The language of touch are people who like to communicate their feelings more with touch, especially in connecting with you, right? So when they are talking to you and they are talking with you, they always want to touch you, they always want to hug you, they always want to cuddle, they always want to have this physical connection with you, right? So there are people like that. Now, my son is excited, he's watching something, definitely, or maybe him and his younger brother are dragging, of course. That one's love language is not part of the five. I used to say it's love languages, leave me alone. But when it comes to the five love languages, so we have that of physical touch, those who connect with you more through touch. So they always want to cuddle, they always want to touch you, they always want to hold hands, they always want to hug. For this kind of people, is usually good that you connect with them on that level of always giving them the handshake, holding their hands, hugging them, and touching them, or allowing them do that to you. Then we have those who their love language is words of affirmation. And what is it by words of affirmation? In the sense that they always want you to commend them. They always want you to appreciate what they do. They always want you to notice what they do, and they always want you to commend them. They want you to regularly sing their praises, right? They are people, so they feel loved most when you speak to them, and they definitely get to feel hot more than you expected when you talk to them negatively. Then we have the love language of time, which is quality time. People who want you to spend time with them, like, I just want you to spend time with me, or I just want to spend this time with you. No distraction, no mobile phones, but active participation in us spending time together, right? Sometimes this time we spend together may not even mean that we are doing things together, but that actually we are sharing each other's presence, right? So we have that. We also have those whose their love language is act of service, right? They would always want to do things for you, and they will always want you to do things for them. So any little thing you do for them means a lot, and one of the ways they show that they love you is to always do things for you, always help you out, right? And lastly, and not the least, is those whose love language is that of gifts. They always love gifts, right? It is not about the gift, but about the intention, but about the fact that you were thinking about them, you had them in your mind, and so you thought of giving them something. My wife, my only sister, and my mom, interestingly, the three closest women to me in my life, all have gifts as one of their love languages. So you can imagine what one of my friends did today, because he knows that my wife is Benue, and because he knows that my wife also love edikaikon soup. Himself and his wife decided to get Benue yams, and they made pounded yam with Benue yams, and they made edikaikon soup for her, and they brought it from their house to join us, right? So it was something special. They called and told my wife, don't bother preparing lunch, we are bringing lunch for you. And when they came, we were like, this cannot just be lunch, this is lunch and dinner together. So these are the 5 love languages, and by Gary Chapman. And I would like to go straight into inviting my guests to join me while we have these conversations. The first person I'll be invited to join me is Extraordinary Teddy. She has been on this show before. Teddy, how are you doing today? Good evening. Can you hear me, Teddy? Oh, once again, Teddy, can you hear me? I wanted to ensure that I was not muted. I'm sure everyone can hear me, right? Okay, while we are still trying to have Teddy join us, we are still trying to have you join us, I would like to bring up another of my friend, right, who is also a counseling psychologist, Mr. Adeolu. Come on, sir. Good evening,
Good
sir.
evening,
How are you doing,
everybody.
sir?
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. How are you
I'm
doing?
fine. I'm fine.
Great. Nice to have you around. So where are you joining us from today? Are you in the city of Ibadan, or you're somewhere else in Nigeria, or somewhere else in the world? Oh, technical issues. Okay. I'll still do and wait for him to come while I continue the conversation. Where if you're in Nigeria right now, you know we're having different weather conditions right now. The weather condition is not stable. It is on and off, and that is giving different network suppliers different challenges. In fact, for me to be able to be here, I had to ensure I had 3 options available per time. Okay, great. So I explained earlier on, I was explaining earlier on the different type of love language that we have out there, and how people get to be more with one than the other, right? And not just that, and how it is usually best for you to find out and know how your partner actually wants to be loved, how your partner expresses love, and how your partner wants to be loved. Because if you do not understand how your partner expresses love, you may think that your partner is not into you. You may think that your partner is not into the relationship. You may think that your partner is not into the marriage and that the person is not giving it his all. Meanwhile, the issue is just that this person is not speaking your own love language. In reality, what is happening is that this person is talking, is loving you in the way they would have loved, or they will definitely want you to love them, to show and express your love, right? And that's why today's topic is very important, because you too need to see if you're in a relationship right now or you'll be in a relationship in the nearest future. You need to understand, how is it that my partner is expressing love? How is this person expressing love, right? What does it mean? Because initially, I used to tell my wife in my marriage that, hey, madam, calm down. I think that you are trying to do too much of a virtuous woman, right? Proverbs 31 woman has entered your head, so that you are trying to do, please, please, please. I necessarily don't need all this extra drama and extra activity, only for me to realize that that's how she expresses her love. It was not just to me, but to every other person in her life, right? So if you understand how your partner expresses love, you'll be able to be more appreciative of anything they do and what they do and how they get to do it. You get it now? And that's way you are still able to have a clue to know how this person will want to be loved in return. So, sir, let me add you back now. Thank you. It's good to have you back, Mr. Adegboye. How are you doing, sir? Can you hear me? Oh, my man. It's like for every time I add them, there becomes some technical issues and the rest. Can you hear me, sir? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, so let's continue pending when we are able to have them. Okay, Teddy is back. Teddy, can you hear me?
Can hear you.
Oh, great, amazing. It's good to have you back. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you. How are you?
Great, great. So I'm fine. I'm good. At least my friend brought me the jam, and it did kind come today. No better evening can the person ever have than that.
That's good. That's really good.
So okay, I would like to ask you straight away that what came to your mind when you saw this topic?
Um, when I saw
Did
the
it
topic, I
remind
thought,
you of some of the matters you have handled?
yes, very much so. Very much so. When I saw the
Mm,
topic,
mm,
it kind of resonated with me in a way
yeah.
because so many people, so many couples in relationship, in marriage, seems to be having
Mhm.
an issue understanding their
Yes.
partner's love language.
Mhm.
So that is like a real life issue going on here.
Yeah.
So I feel like we talking about we enlightening them about
Mhm.
what to do when they have opposing or contradicting love language as to their
Mhm.
partner will go a long way in helping them navigate their various relationship issues or marriage, as the
Mm.
case may be.
Mm. Wow. That's fine, because usually I've seen couples who come into the Alright passion for counseling, and people who reach us, and I can see marriages that are more than 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you still hear people say he does not hear me, she does not hear me, uh, she does not make me happy, he does not make me happy, despite the things I keep on saying, or you hear people say, despite the things that I do, I don't feel appreciated, I don't feel wanted, I don't feel loved, and all those drama that always get to happen. And when they come to the office like that, or we're having a virtual session with them, one of the things I usually want to do is just to administer the love language assessment test to see, hey, come on, let me see what is even people's love languages. Do people know about the love languages? And people say no. Many of them say no. Some say they do, but they know their own, but they don't know that of their partner, right? So I would like to ask you on that, for the people you get to work with, because as a counselor, you get to also work with people, you get to hear people's matters and the rest. How much do you think people know and understand the love language, the love
Um,
languages?
I don't think most people really understand what love language even means to start with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think most people get it confused with something else.
Yeah.
And then they don't really understand what to do when probably they have this way that they want to be loved. They have this way that they want to be appreciated, and their partners are not coming true for
Yeah.
them on that. So they feel unappreciated, they feel unfulfilled.
Mm.
And I feel like we talking about all those things that they could do when such thing happens will go a long way in helping them.
Great, great, great. And the reason is simple. Recently, I see I still with a couple recently, and one of the things that caused the issue, if I can remember, is the love language. One of the partners saying that after reading the book, The Love Languages, the awareness just struck that, oh, this is actually what I've been complaining about. I've not been loved the way I want to be loved. So let me check on Mr. Adeolu now. Hello, sir. How are you doing, sir? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, welcome. Great.
Yes,
It's
I can hear
good.
you.
It's good to finally have you. Yes, sir. So let's go straight. So we'll be having this conversation here and there, and we'll see how we can get this clearly. So, sir, what is your take about the love languages generally? Do you think it's actually a big deal?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Did you get my question, sir?
Come again.
Okay, my question is simple. What do you think about the love language generally? Do you think it's even a big deal?
Hello, my network is a little
What do
bit
you
bad.
think about the love languages? Sorry, what do you think about the love languages generally? Do you think it is a big deal?
Yes, love language is a big deal
Mm-hmm. Why do you think so?
in this our country
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people go into relationship and marriage
Mm.
without understanding their partners, without
Yeah.
understanding their spouse.
Yeah.
There are a lot of clues that would lead us to who the kind of person our spouse is, our partner is,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people are ignorant about little things, like what the person likes,
Mm.
like what inspires the person, that
Mm.
what draw the person closer.
Mm-hmm.
Because this love language, it defines who we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because a lot of people today they hide their feelings, they hide their languages, all because they don't feel secure
True.
in the
Mm.
sense that they know people are going to take advantage of them.
Yes.
Both male and the female, it goes both ways.
Mhm. Wow. Thank you.
So
Thank you so much for that. Mhm. Yes, continue, please. Continue.
this issue we are discussing tonight
Mm.
is the foundation of every relationship and marriage.
Yeah.
It is going to
Okay.
tell how
Mhm.
lasting, how strong the bond is going to be.
Great.
A lot
Thank you
of
so
marriages
much.
today are suffering because there, there is no communication in love language.
Mhm. 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 Sure. That's quite understandable. Thank you so
So
much. Thank you. Mhm.
the love language today, the love language today should be the key instrument in every relationship.
Yes, please. Okay.
Because when
Mhm.
people are going into relationship and they are ignorant about this, it's going to hunt them down. It's going to bring down the relationship.
True.
Because
True.
even those who think they are mature, those who think are immature,
Mm.
they don't know that these are the requirements of going into relationship.
Okay, let me ask you a question, sir. Let me ask you a question, sir, so that we just go
Okay,
straight into it. In a situation where right
okay.
now a couple they are not speaking each other's love languages, right? What can they do? What are the practical steps that they can do in line with our question today? What are the practical steps they can do in a situation where, for example, I notice that my wife is not speaking my love language? What can I do in that situation?
Okay, the number one thing to do is is to come to the drawing board, be on this on the board,
Mm.
be on the table with your spouse or your partner.
Okay.
When you are on the table, then you bring everything to the table.
So, what would be this everything that we are bringing to the table?
Everything we are bringing to the table is everything that speak about you, your personality, everything that you can say about yourself, everything you can say about yourself without holding anything back.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
people are holding a lot of things back
Mm.
in relationship. At
That's true.
times, you might see something that pisses you off in your spouse or your partner.
Mhm.
When you don't communicate it very well, it will lead to another thing. It will lead to quarrel, it will lead to disagreement.
True.
So the first thing to do is to come to the table, come to
Mhm.
term with your spouse. Because
Yes.
for you to resolve this issue, everybody must come to the table and express themselves.
Okay, that's fine.
Because for instance, if you don't have time for your spouse
Mhm.
and your spouse is complaining that you don't have my time,
Mhm.
it means both of you have not sit down to iron things out. Things cannot go on this way for long. It should be a time base. Even though it is work related, it should be a time base. For instance, somebody who is working on a shift, like doing night duty, doing morning duty. So it's different from those that go to work and come back in the evening. So there is no time between the sit down, discuss with his or her spouse. There's no cordial relation. There's no formal discussion between both of them. There will be a wrong perception between them. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. I can hear you loud and clear. I was saying because of
So
our time, I would just want to hold that
okay,
thought there so that I could also hear from Teddy. So, Teddy, what do you think is the suggestion to couples in this situation, in the situation we are talking about? What can couples do when they speak different love languages? Can you hear me, Teddy? Oh, okay. Until Teddy comes back.
I think first
Yes, please continue.
of all, they need to. Um, you- I can hear you. Yeah.
Yes, right on, ma'am.
Understand its own way. Everybody has its own. Everybody has its own unique individuality.
Mm.
We need to take into consideration individual differences. So once we understand that, I think couples will learn that every human being is different, and
Yeah.
definitely they would speak different love language. So I think first of all, what they need to do is communicate, discuss openly, freely with themselves their personal love languages.
Sure.
They need to communicate. I think communication should come first.
Okay.
So when they
Okay. Great.
communicate, they know each other's love languages. They know how they want to be loved. They know how they want to be appreciated.
Mm.
That would be like the first step into the direction of understanding each other
Mhm.
and their various love languages. So communication
But
first, and
mhm.
then after they've both communicated their various love languages and they understand how each one of them wants to be loved, then they should take steps towards that direction, towards expressing love to their partner in the language that they want, in the language that they would understand.
Mm.
So that's basically the first step.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. I actually appreciate that and the rest. And in addition to what you have said, I also think that people should start considering reading about these concepts. Like, right, you may have heard people talking about the love languages, and you've never read anything about it. You've never taken out time to see. You want to know what it's all about, right? Because the biggest challenge we have out there is that people, you cannot cure a problem you have not identified. That's one thing people need to understand. You cannot cure a problem that you have not identified. You have to first of all identify this is where the issue is coming from, right? And that's why we usually tell people that if you keep on having persistent issues in your marriages, you're trying to solve the issues in your relationship, and it's like it's not working, it's like it's not solving, consult a therapist, talk with a therapist, so that they can carry out assessment. It's like when you try to, there are some things you should not treat by self-medication, right? You should not even self-medicate, right? At all. Like, why should you even bother doing that, to say you want to self-medicate yourself when it is not just a headache? We understand that when it comes to a headache, you should take painkillers for 3 days. Yeah, and if after 3 days it still persists, you should see your doctor, right? So if it's not that and it's something you want to be properly diagnosed, you want to properly identify what the issue is and be able to attend to it. Wow, our time is already fast spent, and ordinarily I would not want to keep people longer than this, including you guys, my guest. So I would like to ask, sir, let me ask Mr. Adeolu, what would
All
be
right, sir.
your final suggestion to people who find it difficult to understand themselves in marriage? And most of the issues that they get to have always comes from the fact they did not understand themselves, or they are doing things contrary to what their partner says, or they are not hearing their partner, they are not listening to their partner.
Okay. The the issue is this: a lot of marriages
Mhm.
are built on faulty foundation.
Mhm.
In the sense that before you go into marriage, you should know what you are into it. As in, you should know what you expect from your partner. Gone are the days when they marry for us, when they arrange women and men to be married without knowing each other. But
Mhm.
today, even those that even spend months, years courting and dating and everything, they still get it wrong. So, just like Teddy said, communication is the first thing.
Mhm.
When you get to the table, you communicate. Because when there's lack of communication, we tend not to understand each other.
Mhm.
So, for the way forward, once you've shared your opinion, once you've shared what you want and what you feel,
Mhm.
and your partner is able to understand you,
Mhm.
first of all, you might keep your own love language.
Yeah.
Both the husband, the wife, both partners must first of all pick the opposite, the second person, the second person's
Love
love
language.
language.
Yeah.
Because if it's all about you,
Mhm.
you can't be on the same page.
True.
First of all, you have to accept the person. Once you've accepted the person's love language, then you can reciprocate with yours. It goes both
Yeah.
ways. A lot of
Yes.
people are self-centered in the sense that they only want their attention to be with them, to be on them.
Mm.
So they don't want to
Mm.
understand the other person's love language. All they want is their own. So what I would advise the couples and those in relationship
Mm.
is that you first of all put your own love language aside, and you
Uh-huh.
pick your partner's love language. When you pick your partner's love language, then you begin to understand it. Then you begin
True.
to adapt with it.
True.
Then you will now begin to introduce yours to your partner,
Mm.
because this life is a give and take. It's a give and take, because if it's all about you,
Yeah.
you won't go any far. You will go nowhere.
Yeah.
Because
I get that.
you have to compromise. You have to compromise by accepting others, by accepting your partner's love language. When you
Mhm.
compromise, you must be willing to change and adapt to your partner's love language.
Mhm.
When you understand it, then you get along easily.
Yeah,
Now, when you are
I get it.
expressing the love language of your partner,
Mhm.
then your partner is not responding or reciprocating such love language to you. It's not something you quarrel about. It's not something you take up as an issue,
True.
because you can easily resolve this
Mhm.
once your partner is not responding
Uh-oh.
by this
Okay.
form.
Oh, we are
For
losing.
instance, for instance,
Hmm.
if a couple, the wife
Mhm.
does not like the husband to touch, does not like the physical touch, and the husband is the one liking the physical touch.
Hmm.
So the physical touch love language is is one of the issue a lot of couples are fighting about. A lot of couples are battling with this physical touch love language because they are not that used to it. They are not that used to it. So they are it's like an alien to them. It's something that they just want to adapt to. So it will take time. What the person just need to do is to
Apologies, I'll just have to cut it in there. So sorry because of our time. And I also want Teddy to give her thoughts on this before we go, so I don't take all of the evening. Thank you so much, Mr. Adegboye, for that. Teddy, extraordinary Teddy. So let me ask you the same question that I asked our friend, Mr. Adegboye. What would be your suggestion? What would be your recommendation? What would be your counsel to a couple, right, that is having the issues of love language, that their problem is love language?
Okay. Like I said earlier, they need to understand and communicate their feelings.
Mhm.
So after communicating and all the cards are on the table, I think the next thing is to learn to try and learn each other's love language. Like each partner has already expressed how they want to be loved. And if probably that is not your whole love language, because you're trying to make the relationship work or the marriage work, you have to like put in an effort, learn your partner's love language. After learning your partner's love language, you try and compromise, meet halfway. We all know that that's not your initial love language, but because you want the relationship to thrive, you want the marriage to thrive, you have to make compromises. Relationship and marriages are based on compromises. So you have to like meet in between, meet each other in between, make efforts to make it work by meeting each other halfway.
I get that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Teddy, for that cancer. And this is my suggestion to everyone now, and that will be go and read about the love languages. Right? If you go online, you can also see free assessments. Do your love languages assessment. Read about the love language. You and your spouse should read about love languages. Watch videos on it if you have to, do the assessment together, and come to that table to discuss about it, how it affects your marriage, how what people have suffered from it before, what compromises you can make, what changes you can make to better your marriage. Thank you so much for joining us. Next week, Thursday, 8 p.m., we'll be back here with another topic. My name is Earl, and I'm all right from the city of Ibadan. You rock.